Hello, everyone. I'm Emily, and this is my final presentation for my capstone paper. And everything I learned or have learned has been impactful to me in the integrated media communications specialization. So, my career goals, as I started, they've really kind of evolved as I started the program. I started the program, I thought I had a lot of options. I could go into the agency work and be a PR professional. I could go into academia and be a professor. Or, there's still this side of me that really enjoyed government affairs and politics from my undergrad career as a ag econ major. But I knew I wanted to stay kind of in the agriculture industry, and so finding my fit, growing up in the ag industry, I always knew I wanted to help some way give back to the ag industry and be there for farmers and ranchers, but I didn't quite know in what capacity that would be. But I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I knew that whatever I did with this degree, whether it was agency work or government affairs, I knew I wanted to have my own firm. And so as I've grown through this program and learned just so much about advertising and PR and global PR and advertising strategies and integrated media, I've really found a real love for government affairs and political affairs. And, I've really enjoyed learning about and adapting the concepts and skills we learn in this program to this career. And so I'm excited to talk about, all of the things that I'm doing to incorporate all of the skills. First off, communication with legislators, staff, and media are things I do every single day, whether that is informal communication through Twitter and Facebook or through formal communication, such as press releases, news stories, talking to journalists, or, simply sending out a tweet or writing a position paper. All of those are skills I've really refined in this program, and really have had the opportunity to expand. I also represent farmers and ranchers and members of the Colorado Farm Bureau every day at the Capitol and in the media. And so whether that's just, phrasing my pitch, my issue, my, Colorado Farm Bureau stance on it, really framing that message and how, those 3 minutes I get with a legislator, how to really utilize those minutes and really communicate an impactful message. As well as, I think through this program and just through life experiences, I've really seen that there's a lot of increased pressure from social media and other activists that are using social media and other media methods to influence legislators and consumers. And so, I think it's really helpful to have these skills to be able to help Farm Bureau use the integrated systems and integrated media to communicate with its members as well as communicate with legislators and consumers, really, even at that. And so it's been really great to be able to incorporate this degree into those career goals and now into my new career that I am as a lobbyist for the Colorado Farm Bureau. So as we move into, with that aside, we moved into concepts, theories, and principles through this capstone class. And, these are four principles or four concepts. Maybe they're eight. I might be cheating a little bit with the four models of public relations, but they've been really influential to me as I have decided what I kind of want to do with my career path. And, I had that opportunity coming in as a full time master's student rather than part time, already in a career. And so I've really enjoyed learning about all of the different models and how public relations has grown and matured in our Western culture, from press agentry and just telling people what they wanted to hear, whether it was ethical or truthful, didn't matter. Sometimes I think we still see this form of public relations, especially from politicians and probably from some of my fellow lobbyists. But it's really transformed, and sometimes I also see that model of public information every single day as things we do at the Capitol or or decisions that politicians make or legislators make, just need to be pushed out in the form of press releases or news stories. And so that public information model is still very, very effective and can also, you know, be needed at different times, as well as two-way asymmetrical and two-way symmetrical communication. I mean, we're still polling, people and getting information that way, but sometimes that information isn't always beneficial to the people that provide it. However, I think, as a lobbyist, I use that two-way symmetrical communication every day. Finding out what a legislator needs, from my organization, or what my organization needs from a legislator, and really communicating those issues and facts and points, and being able to, kind of use each other just like we do in advertising or public relations, when we find out what consumers need or want, or want to know, and then tailor our advertising campaigns, our PR campaigns, to fit the information and to include information that those consumers want to know. And so I see that almost every day and really enjoy it. Brand image was also a concept that really kind of stuck in my head, and I was always kind of thinking about. And I think it also, while it applies to big brands, like Coke and Pixar, and all of these brands that we study throughout, Chipotle, and all of those brands that we study throughout the program, I think it's also very adaptable to a political brand, or the brand image that politicians have and that they try to communicate on a daily, yearly, bi-yearly, basis during election years. And so I think it was very beneficial for me to really study that, and I've really seen those concepts come through in my career now. However, culture is one I really like to focus on, because I think it had one of the biggest effects on me, and I think it has a really good message to the ag industry and what we focus on. I mean, America is generally, more individualistic versus collectivist. But at the same time, a lot of farming and ranching communities are still very collectivist cultures. Families still eat around the dinner table every night and turn their cell phones off and don't watch TV and spend time with each other. And so I think that's, still very, very realistic for them. And when we think about culture and we think about how America is made up of only 5% of the global population, I think that's huge. And when we think about that, Nebraska and Colorado, where I live now, we're an ag exporting state. Both states export more ag products because we produce more than our population can consume. And not only do we export to other states, but we export internationally as well. And so it's a global economy. And it's important to understand that in when we're making policy and when I'm lobbying for or against different issues as they affect agriculture at the Capitol, as well as, understanding culture and how conflicts shift. A lot of times we think of in ag, the cow that killed Christmas. Mad cow disease broke out in 2003 on December 24th in Washington state. And by Christmas Day, most international markets were closed to U.S. beef exports. And so that was very impactful on our industry and the global marketplace. And so understanding the impact of conflict and how it affects trade and how trade affects policies has just been very interesting to me. And it's been really fun to incorporate some of these concepts and how not only how they affect brands like Volkswagen and their scandal, but how they also affect ag products and how they affect industries and communities across the United States. So quickly, just to maybe make it just a hair over 10 minutes, but to reflect on my time in the program, I've really had a lot of time to really identify those talents and interests that I really might not have otherwise considered. Finding time to see where I fit in the industry, whether that was working for a PR agency that focused on ag brands, or whether that was being in academia, being a professor, teaching these concepts that I learn and how they affect ag and how they affect the world, or whether that was finding where I fit now in public affairs and government affairs, and that aha moment that I got to have as a part of the program, finding out that I really love um, government affairs and how similar public affairs and public relations really are. And so that has been very interesting to me and has given me a lot to think about and reflect on, and how my time here in this program has really allowed me to expand my public relations and political affairs experience, perfecting it, or maybe more or less refining my writing skills and my social media knowledge, and how that has had a huge effect on where I am today. And so I've really enjoyed my time here in the program, and I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has on Blackboard. But thank you for listening in, and yeah, thanks, and look forward to discussion on Blackboard.